Greetings, family. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Advocate Puleng. If you are new to this channel, the purpose of this channel is to share the Word of God and to teach South African law. Now, today, I am going to discuss the difference between divorce or divorce, as some people may pronounce it, and annulment of marriage. In South Africa, and I hope in other jurisdictions as well, there are two different ways in which one can choose to bring an end to their marriage. And obviously, the route that you choose will depend on the circumstances of each case. You can either opt for divorce or you can opt for annulment of marriage. Now, the question is, what is the distinction? When do you choose to go the divorce route? And when do you choose to go the annulment route? Number one, the reason why one will choose to embark on a divorce process or divorce proceedings is because there was a valid marriage in existence. The marriage concerned met all the requirements of a valid marriage. In South Africa, we have what is called a civil union, and also we have what is called customary marriages, which I have discussed in my previous videos. And both these types of marriages are now fully recognized by the law in South Africa. So once you are involved in this marriage and for one reason or another, you want to terminate or to end this marriage, you file for divorce proceedings. I have also discussed somewhere the grounds for divorce in South Africa, and obviously the obvious fact is that a person starts divorce proceedings or go for divorce because something went wrong in a marriage which was valid, which was legally recognized. Now, it's very important for us to note this important word. This marriage was valid and something went wrong. And we will also check whether there are grounds for divorce as stipulated by South African law that will result in us saying this marriage is irretrievably broken down, which is a more of a popular ground for divorce in South Africa. The marriage is irretrievably broken down. There's nothing that can be done to remedy this marriage. And therefore, you approach the court for the court to order a decree of divorce to terminate the marriage. Now, the second way in which you can terminate into quotation, and you will see later as I explain why into quotation. The second reason or way in which you can terminate into quotation your so-called marriage, and also there's a reason why I'm saying so-called marriage, is by way of annulment. Now, why do we say you have to annul this marriage instead of opting for a divorce process, which is the one that is more popular, which is the route that most people take? The reason here for the annulment procedure instead of divorce procedure is because this marriage, according to South African law, it never actually existed. This marriage was null and void. This marriage did not meet the requirements or the legal requirements. So that is why we are saying from the very beginning, there was no marriage. It was not valid. It was invalid. And thus we are using words like it was null and void from the very beginning. You may have thought that I'm involved in a marriage, only to find out at a later stage that actually this marriage never existed. And once you establish that, it's then that you will follow the route of an annulment. You would approach the court for an annulment. There could be a reason, or should I say, there must be a reason why you say, in fact, you have just established that this marriage was null and void, was never valid from the beginning. The reason could be, by way of an example, fraud. The other party defrauded you. The other party did not disclose material information, material facts. They either misled you or there's something that they hid from you. For example, you enter into a marriage with this person. In most instances, you would want to have children from this marriage. And the woman in this marriage probably sterilized at one stage in her life before they meet you. And they never disclosed this material fact. There's a reason why we are saying material. It's very important fact. They never disclose this material fact to you. You only find out after marriage. It's an example. The other example could be this person has got one child, two children. They never disclosed this fact to you. Another reason could be they have a terminal disease. These are just different examples of material facts that for example, maybe he is gay, she's lesbian, but she's pretending or he is pretending to be straight, and you are obviously lured into that marriage, not knowing that this is the type of person that I'm getting married into quotation to. So there are many examples that I can give, but at the end of the day, fact of the matter is there are material facts that you are not aware of before you enter into this marriage. And therefore, we have just mentioned that marriage, or as they would say, prior to marriage, you have an engagement, which is a contract. In Latin, they say it's a contract iubere fide, which is a contract of utmost good faith. Therefore, the party who enters into a marriage should disclose all important facts, all material facts, so that the other parties, they should know what they are getting themselves into. If we are to go back to an example of person who is sterilized, maybe what if the other person also did not want children? If you could have disclosed that fact, they could have said, okay, it's not a problem. I also don't want children. If you have a terminal disease, there are people who marry people knowing that they do have a terminal disease. These are examples of material facts that could have been disclosed, but because they were not disclosed, they render the marriage illegal, invalid rather, and therefore null and void. Therefore, in this instance, instead of a person going to a court of law to say, I want to divorce, they would opt for what is called now annulment. I want to annul this marriage because this marriage was never there, was never valid from the very beginning. Now, Once you have approached the court for a divorce or for an annulment based on the merits of your case, the court, there is somewhere where there will be similarities when it comes to the end results of the court order that will be issued. In both instances, that is in instance of divorce or in instance of annulment, the court will order the division of assets, if there were any. And I'm sure there were any. And also that will depend on the type of marriage that you entered into. I have a video on types of marriages in South Africa, in and out. So if you entered into in, obviously, there will be a division of the assets. The court can also order alimony, which is spousal support. The court will also order child custody. And finally, in both instances, again, both parties are no longer bound to each other, and therefore they can continue to live their lives freely, to even remarry if this is what they want. Thank you.